Hi, Royal Rose here, and today I want to talk a bit about time management. Ooh, time management. So for me, this has always been something that I struggled with, and recently I had a really big breakthrough with it, and I wanted to share some of that with you. For me, I struggled with time and feeling like I'm always catching up. We've all felt that before, like there's just too many things to do and not enough time in the day to do it all. Maybe you have found yourself feeling that before, feeling like you're always tired from running around, but never having enough time to stop and catch your breath. That was definitely me. And through my breakthrough, I learned a lot, and I learned about a lot about myself, and I learned about how important managing your time is. So here's the process I went through, and to help me start developing time management skills and steps that can help you start managing your own time to better your own life. So let's get into it. Step one, realize where you are at. So, anytime you want to make progress in life, you have to have a starting point. You have to know where you're at so that you can measure where you're going. So, the four areas you need to look at are finance, spirituality, relationships, and your health. So, sit down and really ask yourself where you're at in these areas. Be completely honest, because the better picture you have, the more you can help yourself. And think about where you want to be with these. So if you're struggling to eat healthy and exercise, be honest about that. If you want to better your relationships and your communication, be honest about that. For me, I wanted more time for meditation and my spiritual practice, as well as bettering the communication in my relationships. So I focused on those as well. So evaluate yourself and be honest about where you are at with finance, spirituality, relationships, and your health. Once you have done that and you know exactly where you are starting from, you can move on to step number two. Number two is in the areas where you need the most attention, set clear, manageable goals. I cannot stress this enough. Do not make your goals too big. Allow yourself baby steps. So for me, like I said, I'm focusing on meditation, and in the long run, the big goal is to be meditating for about an hour in the morning and then meditating again before bed. But that is a huge goal and takes a lot of discipline to do that. So starting out, I knew if I set that as the goal right away, I would get too stressed out and I probably wouldn't stick to it. Whereas instead, I scheduled in 30 minutes in the morning for me to meditate. And if I'm running late, that's fine. I use the time that I still have. If something comes up and I miss a day, I get back on it the next day and I build that habit from there. I set myself a manageable baby step toward my bigger goal. Make sure you have bite sized, manageable steps for your goals. The other part of step two is where I had the biggest breakthrough. It is again part of breaking down those goals into baby steps. But I always had this like to-do list of things on my shoulders and on my mind that I felt like I had so many things to get done that there's no way there could ever be enough time in the day to get it all done. Or if I did make a schedule, that those things would just sit there on my bucket or on my to-do list and never get done. So I spoke with my therapist about this and some of my anxiety around time management. And her advice to me was great. She told me to write those things out and think about those things that I have on this to do list. And for me, this is things like business management, uh, home organization and cleaning, getting ready for a new baby. And she told me to put these things into buckets and make these things into their own list. And then when I'm creating my schedule, to give these things their own time in the week. Really, what I'm getting at in step number 2 is to know the results you are looking for. Know exactly where you're trying to go, and then set goals, and then set baby steps for those goals. And know that the more you stick to it over time, the more results you will see. So, once you are clear about your results and your goals, now we're ready to move on to step number 3. Number 3 is create a schedule, a hard copy schedule. This can be on your computer or your phone, which I really encourage you to have a digital copy so that it's easier to access and you can print off multiple copies to put around your house. But you can also do this on paper. And if you're somebody like me that sometimes has to work things out on paper first and then make them digital, go for that. If just the paper copy works for you, do that. And you can feel free to take a picture of it on your phone so that you have it with you that way. And that's just fine. But have a physical copy of this schedule that you can look at and turn to when you need to know where you're at in the day or you've tripped up. First, remember the basics: sleeping, showering, eating, getting to work, all the things that you know you normally need to get done in a day. Make sure that you schedule those things in as well. Look at your day in 30-minute increments and always be mindful to give yourself a little bit more time than you thought you may have needed, just in case, because things can take longer, things can come up, and you just want to give yourself some buffer room so you're not stressing yourself out and you're flowing through these with ease. Once you have the basics put into your schedule, then go back to those goals, those baby steps, and those buckets that we worked on in step number 2 and put those into your week. Make them a priority, give them their time, and be realistic about how much time you should give yourself on each of those goals in a week to accomplish them in a time period that feels good for you. Like I said in step number 2, I had this to-do list of things that I felt like I'd never have enough time to get done with. So I broke those things down into buckets and then I gave those buckets their own time. And the bigger part for me was taking things in bites to allow things over time to get done and to not feel like I have to get it all done right away. Like for me, I gave myself some time on the weekends to organize my home, and I have to be comfortable with the fact that if I consistently do that over time, my home will be more organized and I'll reach those organization goals I was hoping to hit. I can't expect to organize an entire house in one Saturday. And if I did set that expectation for myself, I would be setting myself up to fail. It's about consistency and knowing how much you can do at one time realistically. This exercise is amazing because, like I said, you have to have a hard copy. Make sure you have a hard copy because looking at your day in 30-minute increments, you will, one, realize how much time there is in the day, but you will also realize how little time there is in the day and how you really have to prioritize things to get it all done. But the more you follow the flow and the more you stick with it, the more on fire you will feel, and the more time you will feel like you have. I've been following my schedule for a little bit now, and it's amazing the things that it has done for me already in such a short amount of time. It's given me clarity on when I have time for things and what I need to maybe put on the back burner for now. And it's I feel less tired because I'm getting up at a more consistent time every day, and I've made sure to schedule in my 8 hours of sleep. I've made sure to take into account to stop and give myself a lunch break, and I feel like my goals will be accomplished in time because I'm sticking to a plan and I know exactly how much time I have for each of those goals. I'm so glad you've joined me here today. If time management is something that you struggle with, I encourage you to at least try this, to at least see what it can do for you. If you stopped and tried to manage your time, what could that time give back to your life? I'm Rose Madison Jenkins. Stay blessed, stay inspired, and always stay in action. I'll see you in the next video.